Hi everyone, and welcome to another episode of the Not Just Design podcast. My name is Jones, and I'm your host as usual. So thank you all for sitting all through every other single episode I've made. It has been 30 strong episodes so far, and I'm not any. I can't be any more grateful than I am now. I can't be less grateful. I think that's the right one. So I just want to say thank you if you've listened this far. Kindly check out the last episode with Hannah and the one before that with Tolu. Those are really cool last two episodes. Now, for episode 30, um, as it is a tradition here where I make it solo, but a brief introduction. So my name is David Egop, you know, um, and I'm a product designer by career choice. However, on the side, I write code at night when I'm in my Batman mood, and I handle something called a production studio and a writing. Um, the writing company, I guess, has a writing aspect to it. It's a full time thing. I just don't know how to define it. But that's just a very brief description about who I am and me. You know, I take interest in solving problems and I genuinely have like to have fun in anything I'm doing. So whether I'm building a company, I'm doing anything, I just like to have fun. So for this really short episode, let me get into it. So this episode 30, is basically dedicated to what has happened so far on the Not Just Design show or podcast and what will happen next. So far, I have spoken to a lot of guests and I've had fun. I have learned a ton. I have built a company from the experience and I have taught people how to use that all my lessons I've learned to start up their own thing, and that's a really good thing. Yeah, and that's been a really good experience for me. 30 episodes talking to people, or 29 having conversations, meeting people, figuring out how to book a guest, finding and failing, texting, emailing, seeing what templates works better, seeing what social media works better, on how to get the guest, the process of how to get the guest, writing script for a podcast that feels like a conversation, and all that process. All of that has been really fun. So far, so good until now. Where I don't really have a way to just say the things that I want to say based on the research I have been doing, putting out on LinkedIn. And I want this podcast to be that avenue. You see, I still enjoy talking to guests. I still miss people time to time where I'm like, oh damn, I want to talk to this person. Like I met a lady today, she was an optometrist where I went to get my glasses. And she was really fun to talk to. Her dreams about opening a clinic where to be free sometimes and people come and get their eyes checked. Right in front of me, she paid part of the medical bill for someone to get their eyes checked because I asked her out later and she said, it's sad when you see people going literally blind and not alone. They're going blind with their children and there's nothing you can do. It's money that is their own barrier. And that felt good to me. I want to have that person on my podcast and just discuss around how medical practitioners handle the emotional, feeling that they go through every day. They didn't just think about how to treat you, you think about how you feel, the empathy, you know. So that's a very interesting conversation I would love to have and how they are being taught to grow that. And if that's something that should be transcended into academical or normal school curriculum, where children are taught in the same manner how to have empathy the way medical doctors and professionals do. Maybe the world would be a better place if that happens. Stuff like that. In addition to what's happened in the past, I started a company from, or would I say a business, from the idea and lessons I have learned from starting Not Just Design, from the YouTube down to the podcast. And would I say it failed, or the partnership I was in where I started the business failed? And that was a really sad one for me. It was really heavy on me emotionally, and I didn't like that feeling. So, what happened briefly was that I got into a bit of a quarrel or a disagreement with my partner because someone had broken the trust. And if I say someone, I would own my own game if I was the one. So someone had broken the trust between us, and it got to a disagreement. And I tried to, get back my company and my idea, and I lost it, And that's basically a summary. I lost it all, and I even lost more. And, it was really, really sad. It was painful. I'm grateful for the people I had around me, my friends that were with me. Later on, when I got to tell my family members and my aunt and her feedback on how I should move forward, those things were really, really helpful. So that's what happened. That's why I don't talk about in-game anymore on the podcast, or you see it anywhere on the description. Is because I do not longer work or associate myself with the company and the name in-game. It's now handled by my business partner, former business partner at this point. So that's a brief gist about what happened there. You see, one big lesson is you would fail no matter how ready you are. And when you do, you should just look at it as part of the process. If you have a really good idea, work on it, be happy working on it, have fun, do it because you enjoy it, and make sure you do it with people that you trust. That's just all. What next? What's podcasting? So what podcasting is now basically an editing and research studio for podcasts and content. So right now, the very, very most functional arm is the newsletter that we put out every week. When we write out stuff, we write out our amazing podcasts. We recommend you to go watch amazing or listen to amazing podcasts every week. So we recommend 3 or 4 every week. And I'm talking about every genre, especially for this specific group of people like us, weebs, nerds, and geeks, and people in tech. So it's very, very fun, and I suggest you go listen. It's really fun. Read it. So check the link to subscribe. So what's podcasting newsletter? That's all about it. We just write out some interesting stuff as well. It takes a pig 30 minutes to orgasm. So a pig can stay for 30 minutes to orgasm. These are just one of the fun, silly facts that we also share in What's Podcasting. Some other cool stuff, like the bug that was found in the original computer bug that became the term computer bug, and the image to that. So cool pictures about me and the food I'm eating sometimes and what is inside and the benefit of it. So that's basically what we share on the newsletter, and it's mostly a recommendation. We have guest writers from amazing podcasts like Into the Podverse, from people like Road to 30, coming to write an episode of the newsletter for listeners like you that want to enjoy their content. The next one coming up is Bio from What a Joke, and oh my god, it's amazing. So I think that's just about it. We still handle research and editing for people. So right now we have 2 podcasters we're currently in collaboration with. One is Adana. One is Adana, and Adana is a revert. It's a very interesting story where she's converting. She currently converted from being a Christian to Muslim, and her story is interesting. So What's Podcasting is in collaboration and partnership with her to help her grow her podcast and teach her everything we know. And the other one is Dear Late Bloomers. So Dear Late Bloomers is another interesting banger podcast for a good friend of ours. She's currently talking to people who are feeling like they left behind, who are older than, they are not Gen Zs, but they feel like, life has moved on and left them behind. She has had her own share of the experience, and she wants to help people in that category get well. We're also talking to other podcasters to build a collaborative network and also, help them grow their podcast. Editing, scripting, consulting, and all of that. So those are the things that we basically have right now moving on What's Podcasting. We're rapidly growing our newsletter and the social media pages where we dish out every day one podcast that you would definitely love. I promise you. So that's what has been happening and what has happened so far. So it's growing well. At the time where I lost access to the newsletter, yes. By the time I signed the contract, I lost the company. I also lost access to the newsletter. and it was at 80 subscribers, so 84, I guess. And in less than the fraction of time we used to get that amount of subscribers, what's podcasting now, as it's now my fully owned property, no more shared, is almost at exactly the same amount. And I'm really happy, we immense the amount of growth, double the viewers that we used to have, make more interesting content in a shorter time. Yeah, definitely in the future, teach people how to do that as well for free. And what's next? Sorry for boring you that long. What is next for us podcasting? Cool. So, I'm your guy. I'm Drones. I still have to do some tech shit, and it's just in me. I just have to. So yeah, tech, and more. You see, in the next feature of What's Podcasting, I will be here telling you about tech and about tech. When I mean about tech, I mean like how the first computer came to Nigeria or Africa. I have a story where one of my uncles were one of the first guys to know how to fix our laptops then, so they were really good at it. I think all of us had that uncle too. So yeah, and then how CES started. I think that's the thing I'm working on now, is how the CES. CES is raining every now. It's raining now because of the cool cars or the cool gadgets that are raining. But how did they start? So yeah, so CES and stories like that. Then the other things on plate is like some tech history content and stuff you'll be getting from me. So I stole some of those concepts from What a Joke. I don't say stole, like I just, would I say got inspired. That's the right word. Got inspired from Bio and how he handles What a Joke. So some kind of context like that you see specifically for tech and more. A few guests, really few guests, cool people, friends. Like I said, there will be guests that I can't do without that, but like a very few guests. My friend Musa has been on a thing where he is practically thinking and writing, and I've let him be. He's one of my loving longest friends, and I would want to have him tell me, "You've been thinking and writing. What have you been thinking about? Share that with me." I also have content. I'm following up a guy. He is my friend as well, Shegusime David, where he's going 60 days marathon. Is it 60 days, I guess? Or it's 6 months or so marathon of concentrated work. He has a schedule all planned out. And if you join me on this journey, you get to find out what he has been doing for all this period. Yeah. So those are the few things that will be happening next on What's Podcasting. And on this podcast called Not Just Design, we'll still be having very funny shit happening, fun stuff, things that I'm genuinely interested in, and I hope you are too. Yes. Yeah, I think that's basically it. Thank you for listening this long. What's podcasting is today recommending you the dopest, the freshest, the jumbadantic, the coolest news podcast that you would really want to listen to. So check the link in the description. Support What's Podcasting by subscribing for free, and really appreciate it. We at What Podcasting are looking for collaborators or podcast collaborators. We're looking for one more podcast partners to have that would be join us on board to be a partner in cross promotion, consulting, and helping out with like editing and stuff. So if you are a podcaster or you know somebody who you think would be in business with us free, we are not charging you for anything, and we are not telling you to bring money. This is just a collaboration with both of us. So if you know a podcaster or if you are a podcaster, you can reach out. Let's do some collaboration with What's Podcasting, and and it'll be fun. So thank you very much. Thank you very much, people. I really appreciate the friends and families and people that have been around me all through when I lost income and growing What's Podcasting itself to become something else. We're still having contracts and companies and podcasters we handle coming, and it's really, really, really fun. The growth has been really amazing. Starting something again always gives you a fresh idea. It like takes you and it delivers you from tunnel vision, which is a good way to think about things. So thank you very much. And the last one I did, I mentioned names, and that cost a lot. So I will just say thank you to all my friends and family and everybody. I really, really appreciate it. And you, good listener and faithful listener, that always listen to the shit I put. Thank you, because it's going to get better. It's easy getting better. So, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, people of the internet, as you have listened, may you be blessed. Don't forget to like, check the links in the subscription. No, wait, no. Check the links in the description and subscribe to us podcast and newsletter and Not Just Design podcast. In the meantime, see you on the next episode. Peace out. Peace, peace, peace. How do I pause this recording? Wow, so much for somebody who teaches people how to record podcasts.